Hello. Hello, my lovelies. This is Paisley Wilde, and hey, we're adventuring off into the spaces between. I was listening to my music and I forgot to hit the right button. Oops. You know, I used to do that all the time. E- um, mm, I do it more often, sadly, than I want to admit. And we'll just leave it at that, okay? We won't tell anybody else. It's our secret, right? Seriously, it's our secret. No one else needs to know. Excuse me. So yeah. Shh. So yes, I remember to hit the banners and everything. So yeah, Dubby is going by. So thank you, Dubby, for the sponsorship. That's some good stuff, guys. I got my samples in the mail. Yeah, I like that. Even Mr. Longbeard likes that. Um, Good stuff. So yeah, go to dubby.gg to check out the products. And if you use Paisley Wilde, that's PAISLEY no spaces, you get 10% off. Good stuff. Check it out. So yeah, welcome. And it is Thursday. I'm trying to get back into my schedule. Really trying. I promise. I'm working on it. Notifying folks. Truth Refugee is where we go to get our truth. Got my mug. Good places. As I'm drinking my tea, check it out. I even have a teaspoon. It's a real teaspoon. There's tea in here. It's awesome. Yeah, I'm a little squirrely. I'm sorry. It's just been one of those days. As you can see, I've got a little bit of a background behind me instead of the chaos. Um, it's because I had an aha moment. It's like, oh, I have the things. I could do this and I could do that. And it's like, boop, boop, boop. And suddenly I have a thing. And it looks great. I think it looks great, anyways. Oh, you can see a little chaos over yonder, but we'll just take it because sometimes you gotta. And yes, I'm hydrating because, as you could hear, the little hack cough. Um, the seasons are changing, and so are my sinuses because that's what they do. Yeah, they have to adjust to the differences in air pressure and things. Actually, here in North Idaho, because we are drier in the summer than we are in the winter, and the seasons as they change, I tend to become a snot-nosed brat in the spring and in the fall, as I adjust to the different pollen levels and the different mold spores. It's just my body's way of saying we're done with the season and we're moving on, and that's all there is to it. And I generally do dose myself up with honey and things. I'll just say things, and it works. But during that transition, I do self medicate with tea and things. So yeah, welcome. Spaces between Truth Refugee. We're on Rumble. We're on YouTube. Looks like we're on Facebook. We're in all of the places. We're on X. Everything is working. Knock on wood product for a little bit. So yeah, we are well into October, the Ides of October, which cannot believe how fast this year is just screaming by. Before you know it, you know, spring thaw will be here, and we'll be looking for green things, which honestly, I can't wait for. Okay, I'm lying. I love fall. This is my favorite time of year. When the trees are changing, all of the fantastic colors are out. The oranges and the golds and the browns and the tans and the blacks and all of the things, because it's just awesome. And I just love it. It is, yes. I don't know if it was because I was a band geek and we did pep band and marching band and all the things and went to the football games and all that, but yes, and the bonfires and yes, awesome. Thanks, Lucky, and hot cocoa and yes, I have stuff in my little burn pit so I can have fire tomorrow night. Maybe it might be Saturday. We'll see. Depends on the weather. As much as I like to have a bonfire, I'm a fair weather girl nowadays. I don't want a bonfire in the rain. It's just one of those things. I'm sorry, it just is. So, yeah. But I got my shed built. For those of you who knew that I was building a shed, I channeled my inner DIY Pinterest girl and made a shed out of pallets. Our local spa place sells their 8x8 pallets, and so I got a couple of those and I built a shed out of them. I personally think it turned out kind of fantastic. Is it the prettiest shed in the neighborhood? No, it's not the ugliest, which is kind of amazing, because there is an uglier one, which is its own kind of amazing. But yeah, sadly. And it's just a matter of getting the yard stuff put away and tidied up and some garbage hauled away, because yes, there is that. And then I have a feeling we're going to see some snow this year because Schweitzer Ski Resort has already seen some snow. So yeah, he's already got a snow cap on. And yeah, it's just seasons, they're marching on. So yeah, I think that snowblower, even though our driveway is like that long, And it's something that could probably be done with the shovel. I mean, seriously. But if if it's this deep and it's that long, that's much snow, you might, I don't know. We'll see. Anyways, so why am I on the air today? Well, it's Thursday, and trying to do more theology Thursdays, talking about more of the paganism aspect. For those of you who are new, I'm an omnitheist. I believe in all the gods. I don't talk as much about the Christian gods, mostly because you can go anywhere and just about and hear about those. You really can. Same with Islam, Buddhist. There's a lot out there already. There's no reason for me to go down those paths because the information is already there, readily available for many folks. And it's harder for those who are on the pagan path to find information because you can't walk into a town and just, walk into the coffee shop or a bar or a bookstore or library and say, hey, where's the pagan churches? Even though it's becoming more and more acceptable, still a lot of people are going to look at you like you've sprouted a third eyeball. You've got like a fourth nostril. I mean, it's just, people don't get it. They don't understand. There's, it's not as frowned upon, or people don't freak out as much about it. But there's still some confusion about what paganism really is and what that means, even though it's becoming more and more mainstream, which I'm glad is mainstream or becoming more mainstream and more acceptable. If you look on social media nowadays, there's a lot more folks out there just standing loud and proud about how they're walking in the steps of their forefathers and how they're communicating with their ancestors. Now, for those of you who are Hispanic, especially those of you from Mexico, you've already got the ancestor, not worship, but respect going. You've got the pictures of your ancestors. You're already memorializing them. I mean, that's common. And there's many cultures around the world who remember their ancestors and have them in a place of honor. And I think that's fantastic. Now, some will take out their ancestors and dress them up and carry them around in parades and stuff during this time of year or during different ceremonies and such throughout the year. To me, that's a little odd. I don't have a need to go dig my grandparents up out of the cemeteries, for instance. That's I guess not my thing, but I do have a wall where I do have photographs of my ancestors and representations of them, and different memorabilia type things of my family, so that I can remember them for a while and talk to my children, my grandchildren, and say, hey, this is who this is, and this is what we've done, and etc. Just like for many years, my aunts and uncles have sent photographs and of kids and grandkids, and we've talked about who everybody is and what their accomplishments are and what's going on in everybody's lives. And it's a way for us all to stay connected. I have a couple of different aunts who are very, very into doing the rhyming Christmas card thing. That is a skill that I was not born with. I just wasn't, but I'm glad that they can. I mean, I can rhyme. I do have that ability, but that's just not my thing. It just isn't. I just, no. So I don't even try. I'll send out Christmas cards occasionally, More it's like a phone call or anymore it's a Facebook message because that's what my wife has time for. Sadly, social media has become a crutch. Um, Nowadays, I really do prefer to send regular cards, which I like the tangibleness of it. And Mini Me and I will sit down and we'll actually make cards occasionally to send out to folks because it's fun and it's a way for us to communicate or connect and do things. And then while we're doing them, sometimes our friends will come over and they'll be making cards too because they have fun doing that. And this is an experience that they don't have in their own homes. And so it's just kind of a crafting day and it's fun. It's just fun for us. And anyways, where am I going with all this and the ancestors and such? Well, during this time of year, whether or not you're pagan or not, if you've ever standing in the grocery line or out in any place in the world, you hear someone say, "Oh, the veil is thinning." You're like, what on earth does that mean? Well, that's what we're talking about. And I mean, the first time I heard that reference, I was like, huh, what? And I had to do some research because it's like, what do you mean? Is it like, piece of taffy is being pulled further apart or what? What do you mean? And there's a couple of different reasons why the veil is thinning is used as a reference. Mostly, the veil is a reference, I guess you could say, as a boundary between the physical realm where we live and the spiritual realm where the dead live. And, or the, real basic. And during certain times of the year, Halloween or Samhain and Beltane are the two times of the year where that veil becomes thinner because it's a cyclical thing. And those who have certain abilities often find it easier to connect with the spiritual realm during this time. And that ability can be a gift and it can be a curse depending on your point of view, your perspective, because some people get it and they're able to channel it and they're able to use it. But those of you who don't know what it is or are new to that kind of a gift or that kind of a skill set, it might freak you out slightly. And if it's a new thing, it may be a fear or scary, because if the dead suddenly start talking to you or start communicating with you, it might freak you out a lot, and that's not cool. So during these times of year, especially those two times, which are about every 6 months, think of it as like high noon and midnight, if you would. It's just a thinning time. Now, there are different places in the world where that thinning happens regardless of the time. Hold, please. Are you done, Kim? The dog's visiting. Here. Come on. Come say hi. There. You see. Kimber says hi. Are you good now? You're shaking the whole... Look at that. You're shaking the world. All right. Back down. Everything's fine. Go lay down. Just don't knock anything over. Please. Don't bump my wall. It'll fall over. It's balanced precariously because I wanted to make sure it was going to work right there before I anchored all my brackets down. So, because some places are the veil is thinner, like location wise, and those places you can feel them often It's that feeling that where your scalp crawls, you know, the hair on the back of your neck stands up, um, and that'll be, I guess, where a lot of death has happened, if you will. Um, now, I know Don, for instance, has been to a couple of really haunted buildings, and even though he can be kind of a negative Nancy, or the not necessarily negative Nancy, he's the doubting Thomas. That's a better word, doubting Thomas. Um, and I think that's his role. I don't know. He doesn't. Hmm, there's things there, and it makes you creep out just a little bit. They have to really creep him out for him to be like really creeped out. Um, he's the person I drag with me if I'm going to go do a house cleansing, because I know he's the anchor. It's like I know I can rely on him to hold the light still in case the power goes out. It's like, you're going to hold this candle. I don't care what happens. Hold still. And I can trust him for that, because sometimes you got to have that anchor. I don't care. Got to have that anchor. And I'm getting the goosebumps thinking about it because, yes. Anyways, but you know what I'm talking about. You've been in places where that spiritual energy has just hit you. Hello, Lucky. Yes, Test. I hear you. I see you. Yes. Yes, I see you. Anyways, um, uh, so with that, so I would assume like Stonehenge. I haven't been to Stonehenge. I want to go, but or the Cave of the Morrigan, or would be just. I would assume that those are high energy places. Um, and I have been to a couple of cemeteries where I felt where the veil was a little stretched. Um, Now, I would just call it a hunch. I'm assuming that in New Orleans, the veil is a little stretched there. Never been, just an assumption, just a hunch. Okay. Um, so yeah, it's just, yeah. Anyways, so um, it's just a different spiritual reality that happens on the other side of the veil. So yeah. Um, so if you are um, feeling that veil is thinning, it's because you're sensing that the boundary is being thinned, obscured. You're easier to cross it, and maybe you have a stronger psychic gift, and you're able to pass through. Now you're able to energetically pass through it a little bit more, or you're able to connect with those who have passed already. Maybe your intuition's a little bit in tune, or more in tune, or perhaps there are like spiritual phenomena or psychic phenomena that are coming through or passing through that you're able to detect. Now, Samhain, like Halloween, or Dias de los Muertos, those are both holidays that the spiritual significance of it, there is going to be thinning in those regions where those holidays are practiced more, are practiced or revered more, I should say. And so, yeah, it just happens. That's all there is to it. So, moving on. I am trying to move on, trying not to lose track of myself, because I do that. And Mini-Me will be coming in here shortly and being noisy. And that's all there is to it. So, in let's see, I have a couple articles that I'll be putting links into, but so If you think of the veil as like a sheet, silly putty, I still think taffy is probably the best one. It's just a place where energy passes through it. So, and that energy, man, when we connect with it, it is just different. Have you ever, rubbed your feet along the carpet and then touched someone else? Sometimes, if you do it right, you really shock them, and sometimes you really don't. Well, that's how it can feel sometimes. So how do you know if you can feel the thinning of the veil? All right. Well, maybe sometimes you feel called to do something without any real logical explanation, right? So it's that sixth sense, or maybe even seventh sense, if you will. Like, why are you taking a specific action? Why are you choosing to go somewhere on a specific day, or working out at the gym for longer, or doing something that you don't normally do it? That could be your spirit guides reaching through the veil, or it could be a new guide coming through the veil to help you or to encourage you to do something, to take an action that you wouldn't normally take. Because we do have multiple guides throughout our lives. Okay. And I've talked about spirit guides in the past. I'll probably talk about them again in the future, because spirit guides are important. And as we mature in our lives, as we go through life, we do have different spirit guides, because we need different guides to help us to do different things. So, because our soul needs different things. As a child, our soul needs childish things. As a young adult, we need young adult things. As a mature adult, we need mature things. And then as an aged adult, we need those things. Sometimes those things are more like child things. I hope you're getting where I'm going there. So maybe you always make a left turn out of your driveway to go to work or to go to a coffee shop or whatever. Maybe for some reason you just feel like making a right turn. And you don't know why, it just feels like the right thing to do. And that could be the spirit world. It could be your ancestors reaching through saying, you know what, you need to go this way today, because we've already seen what's going to happen if you make this turn and go your normal route. And I've experienced this myself on more than one occasion, where if I have taken my normal route to go do something, or if I have just forced myself along the path that I normally take, it's not going to be a good thing. And sometimes if I am rushing, trying to get where I'm supposed to be or accomplish whatever it is I'm supposed to do, and it feels like I'm just getting obstacle, I take that deep cleansing breath and let it out, wash my hands, cleanse myself of whatever it is, because washing your hands with intention, just like a little mini cleanse. And then I move on. Often I'll arrive at my destination not a whole lot later than I was supposed to be there. Sometimes a little bit, sometimes a lot. It varies. But when I get there, I'll catch the news or a message or something, and it'll tell me that there was an accident that I missed out on by minutes or seconds that would have been bad had I been there. And that freaks me out almost every single time. Or I arrive where I was going, and instead of missing out on something, I encounter someone or something that is really awesome and beneficial to me. So it's just a matter of, the timing. So Lucky says the dream catcher that you sent me was a portal, and the energy was flowing up and down my arm, and it was still in the box. Yes. So it's an energy catcher, dear, not a dream catcher. That's why it was flowing so much. So I make energy catchers because sometimes the good energy needs to be caught and kept, and sometimes the negative energy needs to be caught and removed. So it's just kind of like dream catchers, but they're energy catchers. And I sent one to Lucky because she really needed it. I'm guessing it's still in the box, or is back in the box. And yeah, just a hunch. And yeah, it had some oomph to it. It was a root that was drawn out by the river and rinsed down the stream, or rinsed down the river and then collected, and then I did a weave on it and had natural stones and stuff, and it was pretty flippin' fantastic. I thought it was pretty awesome, and so I sent it to her, and so yeah, pretty darn cool. But stuff like that, yeah, you can feel the energy on it. Just like, have you ever received a gift from somebody that you weren't sure if you liked them or not? And the thing that you received from them gave you the EBGBs? There might be a reason for that. Yes, you do, Lucky. She needs to recharge it. So as the veil thins, going back to the veil, your spirit guides or your family guides, your ancestral guides, which are often different than your spirit guides, might reach through the veil a little bit and give you an extra oomph, extra nudge. Sometimes they'll kick in the arse, because sometimes we all need that kick in the arse to do what we need to do. Or sometimes they will help us meet the needs of ourselves and our families in a way that we didn't know that we were capable of doing. Sometimes you can really notice the harsh energy that other people carry. And I know we've all met somebody that after meeting them, we're like, you know what? I don't know if I like that person. And it's not necessarily something that you voice, it's just something that you're like, deep down, you're like, that person's a little strange. I don't know if I like that person. We've all done it. We've all been there. And sometimes it's an ego issue that kind of comes across as like, wow, just kind of an abrasive ego. Or sometimes there's their personality is like just a total clash. And sometimes it's just like, wow, I'm not sure that I am okay with this person. Then it just may be that their energy is not harmonious with yours. And again, it could be that your family guides, your family spirits are just coming through and saying, knock, knock, knock. You don't want to be here. This is not the person you want to hang out with. This is a bad person. And it could also mean that you're just more attuned to people who are acting from the intuitive spirit versus people who are acting from their ego mind, because some people are just so driven by ego that they don't hear intuition. Think of the used car salesman mentality. Do you really want to spend a lot of time around someone who's got that loud, hey, but now buy this and do this, but wait, there's more. Now, in my family, we use the "but wait, there's more" it's a running joke. It is. But that ego often leaves us in a state of fear. It makes us feel, it causes us to hunch up and kind of twitch and duck, because we're worried about, what's coming. What is that person going to do? Are they going to lash out at us? Are they going to hurt us? Are they going to do something to compromise our spirit? Because their ego is just this overwhelming feeling of terror of this dark cloud, you know. And because of that ego being this overburdening feeling, it impacts our behavior patterns to the point where we just can't do the things that we want to do or do the things that we need to do. And it can stunt our spiritual growth. I mean, to the point where we lose ourselves spiritually and we become shadows of ourselves spiritually. And it's really hard to recover from that. It's like that ego is eating away at our spirit energy, if you will. And when the veil is thinner, that ego can almost take bigger bites. So a way to protect yourself would be to carry tourmaline in your pocket, do more cleansing, just seriously washing your hands with intent. It's like, I'm going to cleanse myself of all the negative energy, all the overbearing egos, and let it just run down the drain. Just a real quick cleansing like that will help you feel lighter, no matter where you are. It'll help you. Another thing that might help you to realize that you're more in tune with the spirits and the thinning of the veil is you have a desire for something, like a true desire, like a deep-seated desire. Not just like, I wish I could win the lottery. I mean, that's kind of a pipe dream, if you will. I mean, we all have pipe dreams. But more like, if I don't get new tires soon, my tires are going to be running on their cables and I'm not going to be safe. I really wish I had new tires. That kind of a wish, that kind of desire, and if you put it out there and you manifest it, it's like, hey, I need this thing and I'm really going to manifest it into being. And you have to really commit to the manifestation. Whether you're writing it down and burning it in a candle or on your altar or as an offering, that kind of thing. It'll help you to align your personal vibrations and your desires with the universe and how the universe lets those desires flow into your life. I know Lucky is off air right at the moment, but she had one of those where she really needed a tool to complete a project. It's been a couple years now. And she had put it out there before she left home to go to work that day. She goes, I really wish I had this thing so I could complete this job. And before she left work, and she just did the deep cleansing breath, like released it into the universe and went to work. And then on her way home, that tool was in the middle of the road on her way home, and she found it completely intact. Nothing wrong with it. Talk about manifesting something. That's a big deal. So sometimes the universe and your spirit guides and the gods and all of the things will just line up to help you to achieve everything you need to achieve. You just really have to put it out there and focus on it. And when the veil is thin, it's a lot easier. However, if your ego is in the way, if you are more ego-driven than spirit-driven, it will block you. It'll be that huge obstacle and it just won't happen at all. It just won't. And when the veil is thin, your ego will be a bigger block than anything. And just as the veil thins, that the possibility of limitless blessings that becomes more real. It's not so much as a belief in inevitability. It's more knowing that things will happen. The things will come to you when you need them. Not necessarily right now, just when you need them. And then you'll start to notice signs and other messages from the universe, from the spirit guides, from the gods, from your ancestors, all around you. Whether it's listening to the birds sing, feathers being left in odd and in strategic places. I've had that one. I mean, that one was really obvious. Yeah, that manifest definitely worked that day. Huh, lucky. So, like, I had something going on in my world, and I really needed a sign that I was on the right path, because I was feeling some major conflicts, and the inner turmoil. I mean, it gets to all of us, right? And so, um, I had the urge to take a path through our property at the time that I didn't normally take. And so I did. I went underneath a tree that I didn't normally go under. And it was a big, tall, white fir tree. And the branches were all close together. And lo and behold, there's a big old feather lying at the base of the tree, point up, at the base of the tree. Now, could it have fallen there naturally? Yeah, possibly, probably. However it landed there, to me, it was a pretty absolute sign that yes, I was where I needed to be when I needed to be. That's happened to me on more than one occasion where I've received a feather sign regarding something that I was doing, whether it was a job interview, because that happened a couple times for job interviews, whether or not to take the job after the interview, which I was like, really? This is the job I should take? Okay. Wasn't really planning on that, but I'm here for the interview anyways. So, sure. But, it just goes to the importance of journaling and why we should do it. Because if you journal these different things, like, hey, I found this thing today and it's pretty awesome, and oh my goodness, what does it mean? But it's there. And no matter how long you're on this spiritual path, you're always going to find signs. I don't care what your spiritual path is. The spiritual leaders across the world come across signs at any moment. And when you stop and listen to them, sometimes it's like, are you crazy? That didn't happen. Nuh-uh. No way. How could that? It's what? But no, seriously. It's insane how some of these things really, truly do happen, and it's real. It's really real. So, yep, and there goes the Kimber. She has to talk to the world. About this time of the day, she starts hearing voices because the kids are outside playing because school's out. And her veil is thin because she has to talk to everybody. Nah, seriously, she just has to talk to everybody. That's what she does. Goofy dog. So, I have heard that the veil is a reference to, or let's see, how did it go? I'm trying to remember because I don't have it written down anywhere, and I don't have a note here. But if you guys remember in like the books of the Bible, when Christ died on the cross, they mention even the veil when he died, the darkening and everything coming across the world. So it's not just within paganism that we talk about the veil. So just looking at an article that I have here that I'm going to put in the notes, where they talk about the veil being just thin places, thin sacred places, because it's a transformational experience. Because they were in Brittany, which is cool. They were in a druid forest, which that would be a very cool place to go. Talk about feeling some energy. Old growth cedars. Wow, that's some energy. Yes. Yeah, that's a good one. Sometimes just taking a moment to sit and listen is a place to feel the veil. So when I first named my show, The Spaces Between, and I've kept it for many years because I felt that it's the right name, it's the right concept. Because I feel like this should be the space between many cultures, many worlds, many people, and where we talk about many different things. And whether it's paganism or Christianity or maybe not religion, maybe it's politics, or maybe it's current events, or maybe it's all the above. Excuse me. Or maybe it's mythology, maybe it's contemporary experiences. Hold on. Whatever. It was in part because in many ways I feel like we are constantly in a space between the past and the present, or past and the future. So that's where the present is, right? It's just this space in between. It's a liminal space, if you will. And that's kind of what the veil is. It's a liminal space. But those liminal spaces are also like where water meets the earth, or where the sky meets the earth, or where sky meets the water, right? It's where we connect to the world, or where we connect to others around us. It's where we cross through doorways. And it's all these different places where we are moving between one place and the next. And that is the spaces between, that crossing, that doorway, and that connection, while conscious because we're moving through it, that tactile place, but also subconscious because it's not always noticed, right? And so that's just how I felt about it at the time, and I didn't know how to verbalize it when I named the show. And then as time has progressed, and then shoot, I've been doing the show now I've been on air talking about myself and my spiritual path and such for years ish. It's been a while. It's really connected with me in ways that I didn't anticipate, being the spaces between. Because if we don't find our place between the past and the future, how do we find a way to live in today's society? The footsteps of our ancestors, the contemporary reality that we live in, where paganism isn't always accepted. Witchcraft is a complicated place, because some people accept it, some people don't. I mean, if someone says, "Hey, what are your spiritual beliefs?" You're like, "I'm spiritual." You don't just say, "Well, hey, I'm a witch." Most people expect you to say, "Well, I'm a Christian and I go to this church." It's really hard to just come out and say, "Well, I'm a practicing witch," or "I'm a pagan," because most people today still aren't out of the pagan pantry loud and proud like, other religions are. And it's hard, man. As much as I try to be, it is still hard. And it's frustrating because it shouldn't be. We were doing really good there for a while and things were moving in the right direction, and I felt like we were in a good spot. And then I felt like we kind of moved backwards in the acceptance world. And now we're moving forward. And man, it really feels like we're doing the cha-cha when it comes to acceptance. I just don't like that. So, anyways. I don't know. It's just the veil, right? We're all moving forward. We're doing the things. We push up against the veil. We bounce off. It feels like more the trampoline than anything, right? So, I don't know. That veil, it's thinning, man. I think the old gods are walking about more than they ever have before, at least in recent memory. I think they'll become more and more prevalent as time goes on. I've thought that for years now, and I think it'll keep happening. So we'll see them more and more. And I don't know. We live in interesting times. So that being said, the veil is thinning as we approach Halloween here in the Northern Hemisphere and Beltane in the South. So, remember your intentions before you do a thing. What is it you're trying to do? What is it you want to accomplish? Do you want to succeed at work? Is that what you're trying to accomplish? Is that what you want to do before you go into the office or go into your workplace? Before you go into your school? Do you want to succeed at school? Set your intention before you do it. Do you want the bread to rise? Is that what you want it to do before you make it? I want the food that I cook to be nutritious and my family to enjoy it long before I ever start cooking. It generally works out. I've heard some people keep a container that just says love in their cabinet so they can shake love into their food so that, they're cooking with love. I know it sounds a little cheesy, but at the same time, it's kind of cool. It's a good touch. Kind of cool. So, set your intentions before you go about your day. Stir it into your coffee cup. I do mine. Not this one. This is my teacup. Although, when I filled up my teaspoon, it was the intent of soothing my throat. So when you do the things, set your intention. It'll help you to have greater successes in life. And then as the veil thins, be prepared for an extra kick to your intentions. Because, that'll happen too. So, on that note, I hope you guys have a great day. So thanks for joining. If you do have questions, don't be afraid to send me an email at wildpaisley@gmail.com. You can find me there. You can also find me at Truth Refugee Radio or right here on Rumble. Yes. And then I guess other than that, I will see you next time. And again, thanks for joining and have a great day. Thanks.